Hello and welcome to the kickoff of season 8 of the Spaghetti Westerns podcast. This will be episode 1, overall number 131. This will probably be a longer than normal show because we've been off for a few weeks and we've got to do some stuff to catch up. But, anyways, on this episode, we're going to talk about our history of the Spaghetti Westerns. It's going to be Hands of a Gunfighter. Who are those gals? Will be Aiki Nana. Whatever became of, we're going to talk about Richard Wyler. I've got an autograph of the week, a book of the week, a couple of posters, LP, not an LP, we got a CD. Neither one of the films we're going to cover had a CD or LP. So it's going to be on Blood from Macaroni Westerns, which is a compilation CD. We're also going to have the film of the week, which is Scalps. And then we'll get caught up with the news of the week. And what happens always when we're gone, some major actor in the spaghetti western genre passes away. This time we've had a couple of them. So let's get started. First of all, the history of the spaghetti westerns. We're going to talk about Hands of a Gunfighter. Okay, Hands of a Gunfighter. This is a 65 Spanish-Italian co-production. Spanish title was Ocaso de un Pistolero, also called Manos de Pistolero. Italian title is Il Destino di un Pistolero and Mani di Pistolero. English titles were Texas Jack, Gunman's Hands, Hands of a Gunman, and Hands of a Gunfighter. The director was Rafael Romero Marchant. Story and screenplay were by Joaquin Romero Hernandez. That's an alias for Joaquin Luis Romero Marchant, Rafael's brother. Cinematography was by Miguel Mia and Fausto Zuccoli. It's an Eastman color and total scope. Music is by Angelo Francesco Lavagnino. And there's a couple different versions of this film. So I know of at least one that runs 77 minutes and one that runs 88 minutes. What the differences are, I really can't tell you. Anyways, the major players in this are Dan Murphy or Richard Marcy, played by Craig Hill, Laura/Miriam Murphy, played by Gloria Milan, Pat Davis is played by Carlos Romero Marchant, another brother, Sheriff Robert Rogers is played by Jesus Puente, and then we've got Ben/Johnny Castle or Castell or Carter, played by Jose Guardiola, Adam or Slim Castell or Carter, played by Lorenzo Robledo, Hoss or Davy Castell Carter, played by Piero Lulli, and Little Joe or Charlie Castell Carter, played by Hugo Blanco. A couple of other names you'll recognize in the cast are Mac, played by Ralph Baldwin, that's Ralph Baldassar. Alex Dixon is played by Paco Sanz. Sheriff Ford is played by John Bartha. And then we also have Cap, played by Louis Induni. The judge is played by Jesus Guzman. The barman is played by Rufino Ingalls. And the story goes, Dan Murphy, played by Craig Hill, a former gunslinger, now is married to Laura, played by Gloria Milan, and leads a quiet life. One day, however, he is recognized by Sheriff Robert Rogers, played by Jesus Puente, and in an attempt to arrest Dan, his son is accidentally shot and killed. Desperate, Dan kidnaps the son of the sheriff and, accompanied by his wife, flees. They raise the boy as their own, naming him Andy. At the wedding of a neighbor, Rogers' deputy finds Murphy. The same evening, Murphy gets into a fight with the Castle or Carter brothers, which we've named the local criminal bullies. It's at this time that Murphy's life begins to unravel. He has tried to rebuild his life with honor, but his dream of peace is abruptly interrupted by two circumstances: the bullying of the Castle Carter brothers and the appearance of the sheriff's deputy who demands Dan's return the stolen son. After eliminating the Castle Carter brothers, he goes into a state of depression and remains deaf to the pleas of his wife to leave their ranch where they live. She talks him into returning the boy to the sheriff, but I won't divulge the climax of the movie. You'll have to catch it and watch it yourself. Talking points. This is another small gem of the genre, in my opinion. Its modest budget takes second stage to the story and the excellent presentation and acting by spaghetti western veterans. I believe that this is Craig Hill's first western, just behind I Want Him Dead and A Taste of Killing, which are probably his two best. Rumor has it that Joaquin Luis Romero Marchant supposedly started filming this and Brother Raphael finished it. How Hill got involved was he went to Spain to make The Ballad of Hector the Stowaway Dog for Disney in 1963 and decided to stay. He gives an excellent performance as a man who has tried to change his life by not using his guns, yet pays the price of losing his son, the son he loves, and depression and hatred for the guilty parties he holds responsible. If he can no longer have a son, he deprives the sheriff of having one also. Gloria Milland is also excellent as the devastated wife and mother who's lost a child but seems to face reality more than her husband and grips the situation with reason. Jesus Puente is also excellent as the bitter and vengeful sheriff. The Castle/Carter brothers are also well acted and played by some of the best character actors of the genre. As Edmund O'Brien pines in The Wild Bunch, what a bunch. One of the scenes that symbolizes why we love spaghetti westerns is when Dan, Craig Hill again, brandishes two revolvers and he loads one bullet into one of them. Afterward, he hands the shooting irons to a bystander and instructs him to shift them around so that nobody can possibly know which one contains the bullet. Murphy has him pitch the guns into the dust and gives Davy, Piero Lulli, first go at choosing the loaded firearm. Predictably, Davy selects the wrong 6 gun and the hammer clicks 6 times on each empty cylinder. Conversely, Dan takes the other revolver and shoots Davy dead on the spot. Great scene. The town used will appear later in both For a Few Dollars More as White Rocks. That's the town that the man with no name tells the town, I think you need a new sheriff. And The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where Blondie and Tuco take on Angel Eye's henchmen face to face in the street. The interiors were filmed in Rome. Now, from comments I've seen on various websites, including the Spaghetti Western database, the film gets various reactions. It seems there are a couple of different versions out there that include flashbacks and narration that either add or distract from the flow of the plot. So just to be sure, find the longest version available. That's why I said the running time varies from 77 to 88 minutes. This is available on Blu-ray in Germany and DVD and video in both Germany and Spain. Okay, let's go over the actor profiles. Dan Murphy, or Richard Marcy, is played by Craig Hill. He was born Craig Hill Fowler in Los Angeles, California on March 5, 1926. Hill is best known for co-starring in the Desilu television series White Whirlybirds from 1957 to 1960, playing P.T. Moore. He decided to try his luck in European films, and Hands of a Gunfighter was his first. He was married to actress Teresa Gimpera, born in 1936, she's still living, from 1990 till his death in Barcelona, Spain on April 21, 2014. He was 88. Craig appeared in 16 spaghetti westerns. We previously covered him in his own special episode, number 39. Laura/Miriam Murphy is played by Gloria Milland. She was born Maria Fee on October 11, 1940, in Cagliari, Sardinia, Italy. She appeared in 35 films from 59 to 67. Among those were 10 spaghetti westerns. Gloria died in Rome on August 27, 1989, at the age of 48. We covered her previously in episodes number 6 and 106. Pat Davis is played by Carlos Romero Marchant. Carlos Romero Marchant was born in Madrid, Spain on February 22, 1944. He was a director, assistant director, film and voice actor. He was the son of producer-director Joaquin Luis Romero Marchant, who was born in 1899 and died in 1973. He's the nephew of director Rafael Romero Marchant, born in 26 and died in 2020, and the brother of Joaquin Luis Romero Marchant, born in 21, he died in 2012, and film editor Ana Maria Romero Marchant, who died in 2015. I've never been able to find a birth date for Ana Maria Romero Marchant, so if someone out there knows, please let me know. He was sometimes credited as Robert Johnson Jr. and Carlos R. Marchant. His film career started in 1956, and since he was a member of the family of Marchant filmmakers, he found constant work, including 35 films as an actor, assistant director, and voice actor. He finished his film career in 1982. Carlos appeared in 19 spaghetti westerns, mainly as a supporting actor. He died in Madrid on August 19, 2013, at the age of 69. Then we have Sheriff Robert Rogers, played by Jesus Puente. Jesus Puente Alzaga was born in Madrid on December 18, 1930. A veteran film and TV actor, he appeared in over 130 films and TV appearances beginning in 1957 and ending in 2001. He was married to the actress Maria Luisa Rubio, who was born in 35. She died in 2005. And they were married from 59 to 88. He was the father of 2 children. He then married the actress Lycia Calderon. Alicia Palacios Calderon was her real name. She was born in 1933. She's still living. They were married from 1974 to 2000, and he was the father of 1 child. Puente died in Madrid on October 26, 2000, at the age of 69. He appeared in 14 spaghetti westerns. We previously covered him in episode number 106. Then we have Johnny Castle or Castell or Carter, who was played by Jose Guardiola. Jose Garcia Guardiola was born in Humila, Murcia, Spain on December 7, 1921. He was originally a bullfighter, but apparently he wised up and became an actor in the theater, films, TV, and voice acting. He appeared in nearly 120 films and TV series from 1950 to 1988. He was married to Piero Brigida from 1957 to 1988 and the father of 4 children. He died of a heart attack at the age of 67 in Madrid on May 10, 1988. Jose appeared in 5 spaghetti westerns and dubbed dozens more. Then we have Davy Castell or Carter, played by our friend Piero Lulli. Giuseppe Lulli was born in Florence, Italy on February 1, 1923. He was the son of singer-actor Gino Lulli and the brother of actor Folco Lulli, who was born in 1912 and died in 1970. Lulli was one of those actors you couldn't help but like no matter how bad the villain he played. He appeared in around 110 films from 1942 to 1977. He was sometimes credited as Peter Carter. He appeared in 32 spaghetti westerns before his death on June 23, 1991, in Rome at the age of 68. We previously covered him in episodes number 35 and number 88. Then we have Charlie Castell or Carter, played by Hugo Blanco. Hugo Blanco was born Hugo Blanco Galeasso in Chaco, Argentina on January 22, 1937. He was a theater, film, TV actor, and singer. Both his parents were actors, and he debuted with them on stage in Buenos Aires at the age of 5. He received a national award for drama for the play Clarambaro. After appearing in several television productions, he started appearing in films beginning in 1961. He then went to Spain to attend the Festival of San Sebastian. He was discovered by Spanish director Jesus Franco, who offered him a contract to star as Ludwig von Klaus in La Mano de un Hombre Muerto. He decided to stay in Spain and went on to appear in over 50 films, including 11 spaghetti westerns. He quit acting in 1991. Blanco was sometimes credited under the aliases Hugo, UGO Blanco, John Clark, John Russell, Q White, and J. White. Some of his better known westerns were In a Cult Shadow, The Ugly Ones, Django Does Not Forgive, Up the McGregors, and Texan Lord of the Deep. Last but not least, we have our friend Slim Castell, or Carter, played by Lorenzo Robledo. Lorenzo Robledo was born Lorenzo Robledo Jimenez in Madrid on July 3, 1921. He was a film and TV actor who appeared in 47 spaghetti westerns. He died in Madrid on September 7, 2006, at the age of 85. We covered him in greater detail in episodes number 35 and number 75. So that does it for Hands of a Gunfighter. Okay, we'll move along now to whatever became of Richard Wyler. Okay, Richard Wyler was born Richard Stapley in Westcliff-on-Sea, Essex, England, on June 20th, 23. As a writer, Stapley published his first novel when he was just 17 years old. Stapley attended Varndine College in Brighton. One of his contemporaries there was actor Paul Scofield, with whom he remained friends. He then served in the Royal Air Force during the Second World War. Following the end of World War II, Stapley began his acting career, appearing in theater roles in London. He then moved to Hollywood after signing with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, commonly known as MGM. Gloria Swanson rented a temporary house in Palm Springs, which she shared with Stapley, while she was filming the musical Sunset Boulevard in 1950. He made his film debut in a supporting role in the 1948 film The Three Musketeers with Gene Kelly and Lana Turner. He next appeared in the 1940 remake Little Women with Elizabeth Taylor, in which he played John Brooke, the love interest of Janet Leigh's character Meg. He continued to appear in a string of Hollywood films at different studios during the 1940s and 1950s, including the 1951 period drama The Strange Door, which co-starred Boris Karloff and Charles Laughton, 1953's King of the Khyber Rifles, which starred Tyrone Power, Charge of the Lancers with Paulette Goddard, and The Iron Glove with Robert Stack in 1954. In 1955, Stapley starred in Target Zero as a British tank commander serving in the Korean War. Stapley returned to Britain in 1960, where he adopted the stage name Richard Wyler. His British television credits from that era included the crime series Man from Interpol and the film Identity Unknown in 1960. He also appeared in the 1961 to 62 American dramatic television series Window on Main Street. He then crossed the English Channel to Europe, where he starred in a series of European-made adventure and western films, continuing to use the name Richard Wyler, including The Barbarians, The Exterminators, Dick Smart 2.007, and The Girl from Rio. During the early part of the 1960s, he wrote Through the Gears, a monthly feature for the American magazine Motorcyclist, a weekly column for Motorcycling Magazine, Richard Wyler's Coffee Bar column, and owned a shop in Central Road, Worcester Park, London, specializing in performance motorcycle parts and accessories. The shop was later sold to British motorcycle racer Cyril Jones. During the 1970s, Richard returned to film roles under his birth name, Richard Stapley. He co-starred in the 1970 film Connecting Rooms in a supporting role to stars Michael Redgrave and Bette Davis. He was also cast in Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy. When his acting roles became fewer, he became a radio announcer in Britain, raced motorcycles, and in the 1970s worked part time as a motorcycle courier. Stapley became a naturalized U.S. citizen during his latter life, where he focused on writing. He published a novel entitled Naked Legacy in 2004. Stapley also completed a second novel and corresponding adapted screenplay, both called Tomorrow Will Be Cancelled. He was working on an autobiography at the time of his death in 2010. Some unfortunate business deals meant Stapley finances were not good, and the last decade of his life was dependent on the generosity of acquaintances. Richard Stapley died of kidney failure at Desert Regional Medical Center in Palm Springs, California on March 5, 2010, at the age of 86. Richard was married to Elizabeth Stapley, but they were separated at the time of his death. I'll post a list of his filmography after this episode is completed. Okay, moving on, we'll talk about Who Are Those Gals and Aiki Nana. Okay, I looked up how to pronounce her name because I always pronounced it as Aiki, but it's pronounced Aichi. She was born Herman Aslanglo in Beirut, Lebanon on February 10, 1936. She was a writer, exotic dancer, film and TV actress. At the age of 15, she earned the title of Miss Bosphorus. In 1954, she started her dancing career in the Caravanserai Casino. Oren Morin, the casino director and entertainer of the time, was so impressed by Nana's dance that he dropped the cigarette in his mouth in his lap in order to get her hired. She became a celebrity in Italy, following a famous striptease on the 5th of November 1958 during a private party at the Rugantino restaurant and nightclub on the Via dei Trastevere in Rome, which caused a national scandal and went on to provide the inspiration for the orgy scene in Federico Fellini's film La Dolce Vita. On that November night in '58, Peter Howard Vanderbilt threw a birthday party for Olgina di Robolant, a 24-year-old Venetian countess, in the crowded Trastevere nightclub Rugantino. This was the bunga bunga bash of the day, or a torrid cha-cha party, as one scandal sheet described it in the days that followed. Drinks and music flowed freely. The Swedish actress Anita Ekberg began dancing barefoot, a scene she later created for Fellini. Nana had gate crashed her way into the Rugantino. I don't remember inviting you, observed Oglina, as Aichi ran to the dance floor and started dancing by herself, a thing nobody did. As her dance progressed, the camera bulbs started popping. Police later asked the photographers to hand over their film, but one of them, Tazio Secchiaroli, hung on to his pictures and was later fictionalized by Fellini as the celebrity snapper Paparazzo, giving a name to the snappers who pursue celebrities to this day. Before long, Aichi Nana had replaced her on the dance floor and stripped to the beat of a tom-tom. She ended up writhing on the floor in her black knickers. La Turca Desnuda, cried the headline in La Espresso, mistaking her nationality. Police raided the restaurant while the party was still in progress and closed it for offending public morality, but Secchiaroli managed to get out with a roll of pictures of Nana stripping to her underwear. The photos created a scandal when they were published several days later. Fellini, in a concession to the Italian censors, slightly tempered Nana's topless number, although it was still a salacious scene by the film standards of the 50s. In it, the Romanian actress, Nada Gray, seductively disrobes in a carefully choreographed mink coat striptease, the camera retreating at the pivotal moment. In 2010, she tried to sue the Italian broadcaster RTI for ruining her image in a film about the notorious events of 1958. Some citizens of Rome felt similarly grieved towards Fellini, accusing him of blackening the city's name. We were furious with him, recalled Olgaini de Robilant, because it wasn't a decadent city. Fellini, who comes from Rimini, based the film on gossip. He was like a maid looking through the keyhole. In the 1960s, Nana opened theaters and dance schools. She was stripped of her Turkish citizenship in 1984 on grounds that she helped the ASALA organization. After this incident, she started to work on a book called Stateless, which she did not publish or perhaps could not complete. Nana died from cancer on the 29th of January 2014 of cancer at the Aurelia Hospital in Rome. She was 78. She appeared in 5 spaghetti westerns. She was Lulu or Colette in The Sheriff Won't Shoot in 65, Fanny in Thompson 1880 in 66, A Wreath for the Bandits in 67, Sugar Candy in Gunshy Peeluk in 68, and Berta in Zorro the Conqueror. Again, I'll post her list of films on Facebook and YouTube when we finish with this broadcast. Okay, we'll move on now to the film of the week, and it's Scalps. Okay, Scalps is a 1986. Excuse me, let me get a swallow of water here. Okay, 1986 Italian, West German, Spanish film co-production. The Italian title is Scalps. The German title is Sei Kampf wie ein Mann. Also in German is Geht und deinen Scalp Amigo. Spanish title is Venganza India, and also Scalps Venganza India. English titles are She Fights Like a Man. Also, it's All About Your Scalp Amigo, and just plain Scalps. The director is billed as Werner Knox. It's actually Bruno Mattei. The story is by Richard Harrison. Yes, that Richard Harrison. And Italo Gasparini. Screenplay is by Roberto G. Girolamo, Bruno Mattei, Jose M. Cuniles. The cinematography is by Julio Burgos and Luigi Cesares. It's in Telecolor and widescreen. Music is by Luigi Ceccarelli, and it runs 95 minutes. The main cast members are Matt Brown, played by Vas Caris. That's Vasily Karas. Yari is played by Karen Wood. That's an alias for Mappy Gallen. Colonel Connor is played by Albert Farley. And Sergeant Gordon is played Charlie Bravo. Also in the cast is Chief Black Eagle, played by Jose Canalejas. The story goes a dysfunctional or delusional Confederate colonel named Connor, played by Albert Farnese, commands a Texan fort during the end of the Civil War and refuses to surrender to the Northerners. He attempts to take the local Indian tribe chief Black Eagle, played by Jose Canalejas, his daughter Yari, played by Mappy Gallen. Black Eagle refuses and suffers the slaughter of the peaceful tribe and the kidnapping of the young squaw anyways. The innocent Indian survives an attack and the noble squaw escapes. When Sergeant Gordon, played by Charlie Bravo, and his ruthless gang find Yaren, they capture and attempt to rape her, but she puts up a brave fight against superior numbers and hides out with a tough rancher named Matt Brown, played by Vasily Karas, who served under Colonel Connor and whose wife was scalped by the Indians. Matt, at first repelled by the Apache girl, begins to take pity on her, and after healing her from her violent attacks that caused her extreme wounds, he begins to fall in love with her, both of whom will have to pay a dear price for that love and encounter many dangers. Yari seeks revenge on the soldiers accused of the attack on her, killing an eye for an eye. After that, another soldier captures and ties her, but she is subsequently freed. Along the way, many chases and fights ensue, and the events get worse. Also, the duo protagonists are drawn to a community of white people, which are all racist, bigots, sleazebags, murderers, and cutthroats. In the end, Matt falls into the hands of Connors after a failed theft of the Confederate horses, who then drags him into the fort. Yari, however, stays on their trail and manages to take out the other Southerners, including Gordon, and shoots 2 arrows into the chest of Colonel Connor, who is about to kill Matt. Matt takes care of the rest himself, and he scalps Connor, who turns out to be his real dead wife's father. Even though he had always rigorously condemned Yarny of scalping, he does the same action to Colonel Connors. Okay? As far as talking points go, this is one of the last of the genre. The story was written by Richard Harrison and is very violent with scalpings, beheadings, and torture. This is basically a spaghetti version of Soldier Blue with many scene for scene reenactments. No one ever accused Bruno Mattei of being creative. Overacting by Farnese is irritating to say the least. Vasily Kara's career began as a stuntman and he graduated to supporting actor and late in the genre a star, although he was always a lightweight. Gallen is a beautiful woman and the camera is her friend. She doesn't have much dialogue, so only has to demonstrate her physical attributes. El Condor appears as Colonel Connor's headquarters. The score is composed or comprised of some reused spaghetti western scores, notably from Morricone's Run Man Run. This is available on Blu-ray only in Germany, but it's also available on DVD in Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and Argentina. Okay, actor profiles. Matt Brown, played by Vasily Karas, was billed as Vas Caries. He was born in Patras, Greece on September 14, 1938. He was known as Vasily Karas in most of his films with various spellings. He was a production manager, assistant director, stunt coordinator, stuntman, film and TV actor. He appeared in 13 spaghetti westerns from 1966 to 1986. He's still living. Yari was played by Karen Wood. Karen Wood is an alias for Mappy Gallen. She was born on August 13, 1962, in Ponferrada, Leon, Castilla y Leon, Spain. And she's a director, writer, and film actress. She's appeared in over 50 films and TV appearances. From 1986 to 2015, Scalps was her first starring role. Today she operates a yoga retreat in Ibiza. Colonel Connor was played by Albert Farley. Albert Farley's real name is Alberto Quaglini. He was born in Palovara, Sabina, Lazio, Italy. He was a film, TV, and voice actor. He was usually billed as Alberto Farnese, and he appeared in more than 90 films and television shows from 1951 to 1989. He made films in Italy, France, Spain, and Germany. He also was often seen in TV soap operas in Italy and Germany. His film ranged from peplum and crime films to comedies and musicals, among which were 10 spaghetti westerns. He died in Rome on June 2, 1986, the day before his 70th birthday. And last but not least, we have Sergeant Gordon, played by Charlie Bravo. Ramon Carlos Miron Munoz Bravo was born on March 6, 1943, in Casablanca, Morocco. He was one of the most often seen Spanish character actors from 1966 to 2011. Bravo was also a stuntman and TV actor. He appeared in 99 films from 1962 to 2012, among which were 25 spaghetti westerns. Bravo died in Madrid, Spain on June 23, 2020, at the age of 77. Okay, that does it for the film of the week. Next, we'll move on to the CD of the week. Okay, as I said before we started this, there was no CD or LP for the two films we covered, so I thought I would cover one of the best CDs that combines all kinds of spaghetti westerns. Has composers like Morricone, Damasi, Nicolai, Piccioni, DeSica, Bacalov. It's called Blood for Macaroni Westerns. Came out in 2001 from Japan on the King record label. It's number KICP813, has 24 tracks. Running time is 55 minutes and 47 seconds. It's valued at $75. It is available here and there, but it's very expensive. Highlights on here are The Great Silence, Coffin for the Sheriff, Ringo the Lone Rider, A Man Called Apocalypse Joe, Challenge of the McKennas or Amen, Tequila Joe, God Said to Cain, Two Ringos from Texas, Sartana's here, Trade Your Pistol for a Coffin, They Call Him Cemetery, The Specialist, Days of Violence, Ballad of a Bounty Hunter, which is also known as Phaedra West, Companeros, and Shanghai Joe, plus several more. But this is one of the best because it combines all kinds of films from early on to the late 70s. Like I said, it is available, but you're going to have to look for it. And I doubt if you're going to find it available at a cheap price. You can look on eBay, but it's highly recommended as you can find it. You can also check Spotify or one of those and download it and record it. Okay, next we'll go to, let's show you a quick picture of the CD. There it is, shows all the lists on the back. Highly recommended. Okay, let's do Book of the Week. Okay, Book of the Week. Let me find my note in here. It probably faded away. I can do it without it, but it's Spanish Cinema, Volume 1, goes from 1960 to 1964. It's by Matt Blake. It's in English. Has tons of posters, pictures. It runs 200 and, excuse me, I'm sorry, 346 pages. It's available on Amazon, a number of different sites where you buy books. It's, see the press for you. It's by Wild Eye Press, and it goes over cult films, not the regular dramas, but horror films, crime films, giallos, a lot of westerns in here, horror films. It's highly recommended. So if you can pick it up, I'd suggest you do so. Okay, how about Tom's Poster Vault? Okay, I don't have anything from Scalps. Scalps, all the stuff comes from Spain or Italy. They're very expensive. You can find them because they're in full color and they're huge. But I did have this cutout from Scalps, which appeared in Variety before it was released, which of course the full page caught my eye. And I could tell from the bottom of it where it's coming from in Italy that it was spaghetti Western. At that time, they were rare to find something new. Okay, the other one I have is the Spanish poster for Hands of a Gunfighter. Pull this back. This is a biggie. Unfortunately, at that time on these early Spanish and Italian Westerns, they didn't do a lot of artistic artwork of the characters. They probably didn't know who the heck Craig Hill was. So they used a lot of generic drawings, even though the artwork is very good. And they took them off of pop or pulp novels, magazines, and stuff like that that they could find from the United States with Western art on it and just copied it, changed it a little bit, and released it as posters. Okay, let's go to News of the Week or the Weekly News. Okay, since we've been off for a while, we've got a bit to cover. I'm not going to go over all the DVDs. You can go to the Spaghetti Western database and look up Blu-rays and DVDs. I'm going to go over what was released in the last week. First of all, there's been a couple of actual films that have been released. There's a new Mexican, British, Canadian, Danish film co-production called The Dead Don't Hurt. It was written, directed, music was composed by and starring Viggo Mortensen. It premiered on May 10th. It's set in the 1860s. It's an independent French-Canadian I'm sorry, it stars Vivian Lecloudy as, I'm sorry, let's start again. Vivian Lecloudy, played by Vicky Krieps, Krieps, who embarks on a relationship with Danish immigrant Holger Olsen, played by Mortensen. After meeting Olsen in San Francisco, Vivian agrees to travel with him to his home near the quiet town of Elk Flats, where they start a life together. The Civil War separates them, leaving Vivian to fend for herself in a place controlled by a powerful rancher named Alfred Jeffries, played by Garrett Dillahunt, and his violent, wayward son, Weston Jeffries, played by Solly McLeod, aided and abetted by corrupt Mayor Rudolph Schiller, played by Danny Houston. Olsen's eventual return challenges their relationship as they have to confront and make peace with the person each has become. The film was filmed in British Columbia, Canada, and Durango, Mexico. It was actually made in 22, but because of the pandemic, was not released until this month. Then there's a new Italian film release of Oltre il Confine, or Confini. It's translated into Beyond the Border. This is the final entry into Emiliano Ferrara's Western trilogy. He directed and wrote the story and screenplay, as well as appears in the film along with co-star Stefano Giacurdi. The music is by Klaus Very and Alessandro Giordano. The film is told in 3 parts and premiered in Rome on May 10th. Then we have a new British release, 1971's Hanny Calder, directed by Burt Kennedy and starring Raquel Welch, Robert Culp, Ernest Borgnine, Strother Martin, Jack Elam. It was released on May 13th on the 88 Films label. It's part of the Tygon Collection series. It's Region B. It's a Blu-ray DVD with a resolution of 1080p. It's in mono English with SDH English subtitles. Has a running time of 85 minutes. Extras include Girl Power Goes West by Adam Scalvel on Hanny Calder, The Account of the Accountant, interview with Maurice Langsberger, an original trailer and stills gallery. This is a limited edition glossy O-ring booklet, notes by Barry Forshaw and Lee Broughton, reversible sleeve featuring new artwork by Sean Longmore, and an original poster. Okay, then we have, unfortunately, our Boot Hill section. One of the major stars of the genre passed away this past week, Mark Damon, American producer and actor. He died in Los Angeles on May 12th. He was 91. Damon, who was born, and this is his actual real name. A lot of places say Alan Harris. His father changed his real name, which was Alan Herskovitz, to Harris. And he was born in Chicago on April 22nd, 1933. He won the Golden Globe for Most Promising Newcomer for his starring role in 1960's House of Usher for director Roger Corman, who died on May 9th at 98. He then went on to appear in numerous spaghetti westerns and other B movies shot in Europe, from Johnny Yuma to Mario Bava's Black Sabbath. Among the firms Damon led was an international sales agent, were PSO, Vision International, MDP Worldwide, and Foresight Unlimited. He is survived by his wife Maggie Markov Damon, son Jonathan, daughter Alexis Damon Rebot, and son-in-law Matthew Rebot. Damon was a star of 10 spaghetti westerns: Death at Owl Rocks as Harry Boyd Jeffries, Johnny Yuma as Jonathan Tomadaro Jefferson Gonzalez, or / Johnny Yuma, Ringo and his Golden Pistol as Johnny Oro, or Johnny Ringo, all All of those were made in 66. Kill and Pray as George Bello Ferguson. A Train for Durango as Brown, Samuel Lee Barrett, Elias McPherson, both in 67. Dead Men Don't Count as Johnny Dan Dalton, and Go for Broke as Johnny Sweet West, both in 68. Pistol Packin' Preacher as Slim in 1971. The Great Treasure Hunt as Dean Madison. They called him Veritas as Verita, Veritas, and Verity, both in 72. When we had our Spaghetti Western uh, Film Festival in 2011, and I interviewed him there, I asked him if there was any reason why in most of his films he's called Johnny. And he said no, there was nothing that he knew of that why he was named Johnny. Maybe familiarity because of the character of Johnny Yuma, but it was nothing he knew of. Okay. Then another star of the genre, Antonio Cantafora, uh, died in Rome on April 20th. He was 80 years old. He was born on February 2nd, 44, in Crotone, Calabria, Italy. He studied acting with the renowned Alessandro Fersen and made his debut on the big screen in 1967, but it was in the 1970s that he reached the peak of his fame thanks to his uncanny resemblance to actor Terence Hill. He renamed himself in those movies as Michael Kobe. He was paired with Paul Smith, where he embodied the role of the handsome in a series of films inspired by the duo of Spencer and Hill. But his career was not limited to leading roles. Cantafora also was a character actor, working with some of the most important directors of Italian cinema, including Federico Fellini, Alberto Lattuada, Mauro Bolognini, in films such as Lattuada's The Cicada, Fellini's Interview, and Carlo Vancina's El Spasso El Tempo, are a testament to his versatility and talent for bringing a wide range of characters to life. Cantafora was also a prolific artist with a passion for painting, and he developed over the years. He has created hundreds of artworks which have achieved success not only in Italy but also abroad. Cantafora appeared in 10 spaghetti westerns: The Dirty Outlaws, Joe Dakota, and God Said to Cain, Black Killer, Shoot Joe and Shoot Again, A Bounty Hunter in Trinity, and as in Carambola, The Crazy Adventures of Len and Kobe, which was the second Carambola, Fist in the Pocket, We Are No Angels, and Buck and the Magic Bracelet in 1972. Okay, moving on. Another name of renown was Margaret Lee. She was a British actress who died on April 24th. According to an announcement by her son, producer Roberto Malherbra, she was born Margaret Gwendolyn Box in Wolverhampton, West Midlands, England, on August 4th, 1943. She was a popular leading lady in Italian films in the 60s and 70s. She is the mother of production producer Roberto Malherbra, who was born in 1964 from her marriage to Gino Malherbra, and production producer Damian Anderson, who was born in 73. She was educated at the Italia Conti Theatre School in London and graduated in 1960. She moved to Rome shortly afterwards to pursue a career in films. Her film debut came in a sword and sandal venture, Fire Monsters Against the Son of Hercules, in 1962, where she played the female lead along Reg Lewis, but it was a string of popular comedies that initially made Lee a star in Italy. With a blonde, fluffy look modeled after Marilyn Monroe, Lee spent the first half of the 1960s appearing in numerous Italian comedies and parodies, several of which starred the popular comic duo Franco and Ciccio. Few of these films received much, if any, distribution in English-speaking territories, but they were highly successful in Italy and made Lee a well-known film actress. Lee appeared in 3 spaghetti westerns: The Two Sergeants of General Custer in 65 as Beth or Betty, The Lynx, she played Smith Gerardo in 66 as Mitzi. She also was to appear in a 1964 western entitled I Shot Johnny Ringo, but the film was never made. And Bono de Sangre, Bloodbath in 71, but it was never released. Then we have Gabriella Andrini. She was an Italian actress who died in Salerno, Italy on April 28, 24, 1 week after her 86th birthday. She was born Gabriella Bastroschi on April 16, 1938 in Naples. She moved to Rome at a very young age to attend acting courses at the National Academy of Dramatic Art. After graduating, one of the first roles she had was the Grassman Randone Company in Shakespeare's Othello. She also had the opportunity to work with some frequency in television pros. In 1957's O'Neill's Fermenti, directed by Carlo Ludovico Bragaglia, then in Turgenev's A Month in the Countryside, and in several episodes of Le Inceste del Commissario Maigret, directed originally by Mario Landi. She then appeared in around 30 films and TV series from 1957 to 1979, but never in a leading role. Gabriella also was a film dubber, working mainly in cartoons and on REI radio. Andrini appeared in two spaghetti westerns as Nina in Zorro the Rebel in '66 and as Miss Peabody in 1974's The Crazy Adventures of Len and Colby. Then we have quickly George Hengstler, a German voice actor and dubber who died sometime this year, but no specific date or place is known. He was born in Germany on October 31st, 1956, and was 67 when he died. I'm not going to get into a lot of his credits because he had 295 German credits according to the German dubbing brace, but he did dub Juan Vallejo in '68's Zorro the Fox. He's also dubbed Lucky in a Lucky Luke animated version and the 1990 to 1993 TV series, The New Zorro. He was the German voice of Nigel Terry and Roddy Piper. Again, he was the voice of Vincenzo Nicoli in the Lucky Luke 1991 TV series Lucky Luke, and the voice of Neil Summers and Steve Cormier in 1994's Troublemakers. In 2008, in the film Copperhead, which was a TV movie, he voiced Brad Johnson. And finally, the voice of Ronan Wiebert in the 2012 TV miniseries Hatfields and McCoys. Last but not least, we have Gunther Ratz. He was an East German director, writer, animator, who died on May 1st, 2024 in Dresden, Homswitz, Saxony, Germany. He was a month shy of turning 89. Born in Berlin on May 30th, 1935, he was the son of a brickyard layer, but abandoned the profession of his father and worked as a puppeteer, discovered animation for himself in '54, and thus came to DIFA Studio for animated films in Dresden as early as '55. In '58, he completed the first of his more than 60 animated films. Ratch was responsible for the feature films The Flying Windmill in '81 and his only Euro-Western, The Trail to the Silver Sea, which was made from 1987 to 1989, a Western satire that was awarded the Golden Sparrow in Gira in February 1991. Subsequently, Ratz wanted to film the Karl May novel Untergaren, known in the English world as Among Vultures, under the title The Spirit of Lano Estacado. The scenario was completed in June 1988, began filming in the spring of 1990. The dialogue was recorded, and a song by the proven composer Arndt Baus was also played. After about 600 meters that had already been filmed, the end follows. The work was abandoned due to lack of funds. Around 600,000 marks from the film's budget were used to clear the debt of the DIFA Animation Studio during the monetary union crisis. Okay, that wraps it up for the news of the week. And we wanted to talk about the release of the 4K and Blu-ray DVD that Jay and I both worked on of Once Upon a Time in the release. This is a new USA 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and digital copy release of Once Upon a Time in the West, directed by Sergio Leone, starring Henry Fonda, who it happens to be Henry Fonda's birthday today. Also Charles Bronson, Jason Robards, Claudia Cardinal. It was released on Paramount Presents number 44 on May 14th. It's restored from the original 35 millimeter Techniscope camera negative by Paramount's archive team, L'Immagine Ritrovata, the Film Foundation. This restoration honors the 2000 Film Foundation photochemical restoration overseen by legendary director Martin Scorsese by matching its build and color palette. Languages include Dolby Digital Monotrack English, English 5.1 DTS-HDMA, French, Spanish, Japanese, German, DD 2.0 Mono, with subtitles in English, English SDH, French, Spanish, German, Japanese. The running time is the 165-minute extended cut restoration. Now, I've heard there's a 171-minute version. I don't know what the differences are. Someone can post in the comments, or they can send us a message on it, and we'll talk about it the next time we get on another episode to fill you in. Anyways, old extras include commentary with contributions from director John Carpenter, John Milius, and Alex Cox, film historians Christopher Frayling and Dr. Sheldon Hall, and cast and crew. An opera of violence, The Wages of Sin, Something to Do with Death, A Railroad Revolutionizing the West, Locations, Then and Now Gallery, Production Gallery, Theatrical Trailer, New Extras, are an audio commentary by the hosts of the Spaghetti Westerns podcast. That's myself and Jay Jennings. A look back with Leonard Maltin, collectible packaging featuring a fold-out image of the film's theatrical poster, and an interior spread with key movie moments. A little bit about this and the narration. Since neither Jay nor I have received our copies, we cannot give any assessment on the 4K quality, the sound, the color, or basically anything else. I can only rely on emails and links of listeners who have contacted us. I can tell you all of the extras are on the Blu-ray that comes in the combo package. They're not on the 4K of the film. From the previews I have read, the quality of the 4K in most respects is better than the previous Blu-ray release. The comparisons on color I've seen posted, the facial colors are a lot lighter and the sound is sharper. What Jay and I tried to do is give the viewer our knowledge and feelings on the film like two friends watching it. We didn't go into detail on what Leone was trying to present or what his thought process was in each scene. We'll leave that to Professor Frayling and his narration, which is excellent, and it's included on the Blu-ray. We tried to mention some trivial points out of some of the actors, some of the locations that were used, and things like that. For both of us, it was a kick in the ass to be able to give our feelings on a film that we both think is one of the best films of the genre and one of the best Westerns ever produced. We prepared by putting together notes and sending them to each other and deciding who would comment on each point that we wanted to get across. In this way, it went smoothly and we didn't step on each other's toes. And being such a long film, I think we took 2 or 3 breaks before completing the narrative. We had no idea of when or who it would be released by until Sebastian of the Spaghetti Westerns database emailed me and asked if we did a narration, and he had just come across an advertisement of the release and the data and the features included, which mentioned the Spaghetti Westerns duo. He wanted to know if that was us. I told him yes. So I asked several people in emails if they came across releases or if they posted that they had received a copy, what they thought of it. And they came back and thought it was outstanding, that they thought the quality was much better, was much sharper. Some people like the Blu-ray better. That's opinions that, everybody's got their own opinion. That's fine. So, anyways, I appreciate everyone getting back to us. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy our narration. If there's any comments on that, feel free to drop us a line. We can take the heat. But we thought we did a pretty good job ourselves, especially I thought this is the first time I've never narrated one. I've seen Courtney Joyner comments, and I'm going, oh my God, how am I going to compete with these guys? They're professionals. But I thought we did a great job. We enjoyed doing it, and we hope you enjoy seeing it. So, okay, that'll do it till we see you down the road next time. Until then, adios, compañeros.